An elderly St. Louis man is dead tonight. Arson is suspected in a home fire.
And we'll tell you about a South St. Louis girl who needs a liver transplant to survive. And we'll have the conclusion of our cover story series on Inside Television News. The Eyewitness News is next.
This is KSDK, Channel 5 St. Louis. First in information. And now with tonight's news, Stan Stovall, Dick Ford, Bob Richards with tomorrow's weather, and Jay Randolph.
I'm Aaron Mermelstein. Tonight on Cover Story, we'll tell secrets, television tricks of the trade.
This is the Eyewitness News Update.
Good evening, everybody. An elderly North St. Louis man is dead tonight, the victim of a fire that swept through his home.
Firefighters say the one-alarm blaze started about 8 o'clock this evening in a one-story house in the 4400 block of Lee. Rescue workers tried to revive the man at the scene, but failed. Authorities have not yet released the victim's name. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Arson is suspected.
St. Louis police tomorrow morning will expand their efforts to combat the attacks on Northside schoolgirls. Undercover police officers will be out in force in North St. Louis. They'll patrol a larger area and start earlier to try to stop the sexual attacks. Before the task force hit the streets this morning, a 15-year-old girl became the 6th student attacked on the way to school. Today's victim was seized as she walked to a bus stop to meet her ride to Beaumont High.
When she left her home, she observed this Negro male riding this orange-colored bicycle, and she lost sight of him for a while. And when she reached the corner of Marcus and Carter, she was approached by this same Negro male, but he was not on his bicycle. And he grabbed her by the arm, and he walked her back to a vacant garage on Anderson Avenue, where he raped her inside of this garage.
Police believe today's attacker is the same man who raped an 8-year-old girl 2 days ago. So far, they have no suspects. Dioxin-contaminated soil will not be stored at Fort Leonard Wood. That today from the head of the Department of Natural Resources. Director Fred Lafser says a proposal to build a bunker at the fort does not have the support of Governor Bond. Right now, the state still plans to store soil contaminated by dioxin at Times Beach.
The Missouri legislature sent Governor Bond a bill today that would allow the use of federal funds to reconnect heat that was cut off for residents of Missouri who have unpaid bills. The law would take effect just as soon as the governor signs it. It was a heat emergency awareness night tonight at the Columbia Community School in North St. Louis. The neighborhoods around the Columbia School are among the lowest income areas in the city. This is the first in a series of meetings to provide information to residents on what assistance is available to solve their heat problems. Last December, a neighborhood resident was found frozen to death after his gas had been cut off. A South St. Louis teenager is fighting for her life tonight. She needs a life-saving operation, but her family says it'll take a small miracle to get that operation.
16-year-old Tammy Beckham looks like a typical teenager, but she is not. Tammy suffers from chronic active hepatitis. Doctors say she needs a liver transplant to live.
It hurts to go to the doctor and have them poke on me and face them doing it on, not really on purpose. But I know they have to do it, and I'm not really looking forward to it. But to get better and get it all over with, I'll be happy.
Tammy can't go to school, so she spends a lot of time on the couch playing video games with her sister. Her mom spends a lot of time worrying. She only gets $298 a month Social Security. She doesn't know how she'll pay for the $250,000 transplant operation on that. She's written to President Reagan and Governor Bond asking for help.
If they can help me pay the bill, that would be fine. I just want my daughter alive, and they're telling me that they can't help me. They can't. I'm overqualified for any Medicaid, Medicare. I'm overqualified for food stamps. I'm overqualified for everything just because of that one Social Security check. And the door is shut.
Christine Beckham is mad and frustrated. But for Tammy, the waiting is the hardest part.
It's scary, and it's a lot of pain. That's about it.
Do you think about tomorrow?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I got to keep fighting for my life.
Tammy and her mother have an appointment at the University of Minnesota March 4th. At that time, doctors will determine just how soon Tammy needs the transplant operation. But no matter how urgent her condition, the hospital will not put Tammy on the transplant waiting list until she has $130,000 deposit for the operation. For Nightbeat, I'm Kathy Leonard, Channel 5 Eyewitness News in South St. Louis.
David, the bubble boy, was cheerful until his death, but doctors today said he was tired of the struggle to keep him alive. Doctors fought back tears as they told reporters how David died last night. The 12-year-old boy was defenseless against disease despite an attempt to build immunity through a bone marrow transplant. He spent most of his life isolated in a plastic bubble. Just 15 days ago, he left the bubble for a sterile hospital room. Doctors say David died of abnormal growth of white blood cells. They suspect cancer.
At this point, we do not know whether this abnormal growth of B lymphocytes were malignant or not. Tests will be performed over the next several weeks because with this information, we will be able to treat other children yet to be born with this illness.
Doctors hope through the test David's death will be as inspirational as his life.
Doctors are being asked to do their part to help the economy. The American Medical Association is asking all doctors to voluntarily freeze their fees for 1 year. The AMA says that doctors have a responsibility to share in the sacrifices needed to help keep the economy strong. Another chapter tonight in the rags to riches story of the Chrysler Corporation. Today, the company announced that its 1983 profits were an all-time high. Chairman Lee Iacocca says Chrysler made more than $700 million last year, and the success story continues this year. Mid-February sales for Chrysler are up 85% compared to a similar period last year.
But the problems continue for the Convair Corporation. St. Louis police have arrested the bookkeeper of the trucking firm. He's charged with issuing bad checks to employees. Workers say Convair owes them thousands in back pay. The company is now closed after filing a bankruptcy petition. Still ahead, more warning about the federal deficit.
And the conclusion of our cover story series, Behind the Screens.